Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Infinite Snap. If you're watching the video, you might notice that there is an extra face with us here today. Introducing our friend of the show, Justin. Welcome to the show, Justin. Some big news. Justin's going to be joining us a bit more regularly on the podcast, which is great to hear. How you doing, Justin? Good?
Very good, thank you. Good to be here.
That's good. And Tom, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
That's good. From what you guys told me, my voice doesn't sound too weird, but I am sick at the moment. As far as I know, it's not COVID, which is good. I've been doing tests and it's still negative, so I'll see how I go. But I am pretty ill, but pushing through for today. We're not doing the live stream today. We'll be back next week doing it live, but you guys will still get the episode this week. Guys, today's episode, we're discussing the what we think is going to be in the next patch. There has to be a patch coming soon. It's been ages since we've gotten one. We're just going to discuss like what cards we think need buffs and nerfs and things like that. We're going to discuss a bit about the game's current development and what we think its future development will look like under Second Dinner. And of course, we're going to be playing everyone's favorite game, Snap Who, at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that. I know that's why you guys stick around to the end. Again, if you guys if you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review. A lot of the other podcast apps don't let you leave like written reviews. They just let you do stars. So if you leave a written review on Apple Podcasts, if it's a 5-star review, we'll read it out. Don't feel you have to give us 5 stars. Obviously, we love, constructive criticism. But if you give us a 5-star review, we'll read it out on the podcast. Let's roll that intro and get straight into it. All right, guys. So, Justin, you've been playing some Marvel Snap this week?
Yeah, I've been playing a bit of Marvel Snap. Kind of got over it a little bit. I didn't play as much as I have previous weeks or previous seasons, but unlocked a cool card, which I'll go through later with the new deck, so I'm loving it again.
Yeah, cool. And Tom?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I haven't been playing much in the last couple of weeks, but decided to try out a new deck, which has been more fun. So the last couple of days I've been probably playing a lot more than I have previously, so it's been good.
That's good. I think it's one of those games where you can kind of just play every now and then and just neglect it like other days. I feel like it can be just played as that sort of game, which is fine. I mean, I think that's a good game, a game that you don't feel like you have to play every single day. I sometimes feel like I have to play every single day because of the weekly the weekly challenge. Did you guys complete that this week? The mission?
I just missed it.
Yeah.
A weekly challenge, as in?
So you had to like complete the 35 missions for the week?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
I think that's my minimum. As long as I'm doing the daily missions every day and I do what's the other thing? The season pass.
Yeah.
As long as I'm doing all of those, that's fine for me.
But I think, that's the thing. I think even just those can be quite, like if you're not playing, at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes a day, you can kind of fall behind because you can only have 6 at a time. So I guess you need to play every 24 hours sort of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I saw something as well, but don't quote me on it because I'm not sure. It might have just been off Reddit or something. But apparently they may reduce the amount of missions needed for the weekly missions. Instead of 35, it may be 25 or something.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Reddit too. I think they said 25 was the...
Will we get the same rewards though, or will it be less?
A comment said that it would be the same rewards, but yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
It seems that I feel like they would reduce the rewards if they're going to make us do less challenges, but still count as the whole weekly challenge.
Yeah,
like
but
the season pass.
It made sense though, because like at the moment it's like, 5 missions you get a reward, then another 5 missions you get a reward, then they have like a 10 and a 10 in there to get to 35. I think now it just goes 5 lots of 5 to get you to 25, which makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I think the problem people have with it is like the whole FOMO thing. Like if you think about it, it's 7 days, you get 6 missions a day. So what's that, like 30? Is it even 7 days? So that's like what? So you get 42 missions
42 missions a week.
Yeah.
So you can miss out on 7.
And then you play your gold if you want to catch up.
Which is like, obviously you don't want to be spending your gold on missions. So yeah, I think I can see why, like, I guess a casual player would find that very frustrating because they'll feel forced to play every day. Which I think we enjoy playing it every day, so it's fine. But I can definitely see if you just wanted to play for fun, you'd feel like you have to complete that every week, like when it comes out, that mission.
Yeah, and the missions are not hard. Like, I feel like I'll get 2 missions pop in, and then I can play for maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and they're done. It's not a big deal. And if they load up to 6 missions, then you can complete them all in, say, like half an hour or whatever.
Yeah, I think it depends on. Yeah, like what the missions are. Like some decks, it doesn't. Like my deck doesn't. The deck I've been playing lately doesn't have any 5-cost cards. So when that mission comes up, I have to change decks to actually complete it. Which I mean, I think is fine. But if you're, I don't know, if you're grinding to infinite with a deck and then you go, oh, I've got to do this mission, it can be like, I guess, a little annoying, especially when it is essential to going like further in the battle pass. Like you essentially have to do that mission to complete the battle pass.
Yeah.
Because you get so much battle pass XP from it. Yeah, it's an interesting one, but yeah, we went a bit off topic on that one. But that's fine. Let's get into the featured locations for this week. We had a new location, so it seems to be the theme at the start of the week. We get a new location and have that as the featured location, and then to end the week, we get another featured location of an already existing location. The raft. What was the raft? I've got to bring it up. Don't any of you remember what the wording for it is?
When you play, whoever plays fills the location first gets a 0-cost, a 6-cost card in their hand that it costs 0.
Yeah, that's right.
A random one.
Yeah, that's right. So it was an interesting one. Did either of you guys, Justin? I'll start with you. Did you use a special deck for that location at all?
I didn't use a special deck, but it feels bad. Like I like the idea of it. But if you're using, say, I don't know, a destroy deck or something like that, you can just lose from a situation like that because your opponent gets 6 cost for free basically. So it can be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tom, did you use anything special or just played it out?
Nah, the deck I'm using at the moment worked well with it because I try and run, Lockjaw and then Jubilee, and then it just fills it up quickly, and then it happened to me today, and then I had White Tiger out somewhere else on the board, and then I got a 0-cost Odin.
Oh,
so
wow.
then I literally had 2 Odins and then another Tiger out. And because that the raft location was already full, I just knew where the Tiger was going, so I just stacked up on the Tigers and just won. So
that's actually insane.
It is pretty broken at times, I think, but I think that's the point of these, just to do some crazy stuff.
I think it really just buffs like swarm decks where you're playing like an aggro deck. I played like an aggro beast deck for like a few games just to see how it would work with the location. It's funny because I didn't actually realize it was a random 6-cost. I thought it was a 6-cost from your deck. I had like this really great deck idea, and then when it gave me a random card, I'm like, oh, my idea doesn't work. But yeah, there was some games I lost because they just like I knew they had that 0-cost 12. Like as soon as I knew they had that 6-cost card for free, I'm like, well, turn 2, they're probably playing 2 6-cost cards and just winning. So it was kind of like they got there first, I'll just retreat sort of thing. But I mean, when it's not featured, I think it's fine. The location doesn't bother me.
I was going to say that. I think while it was featured, it was a little bit unfair. You're trying to run a normal deck when all these other guys are running like 1-cost decks just to get that 6 drop.
Yeah.
But now that it's not featured, it's fine if it comes up.
That's right. It's not coming up every game. So no special decks for any of us there. I did that Beast deck for a little bit, Beast Falcon deck. It was kind of eh. And then the location later in the week was Mojo World. Justin, any special deck for Mojo World? Pretty straightforward one. Oh, sorry.
It's pretty straightforward.
Do you want to explain what Mojo World is first? I'll bring it up.
Mojo World is whoever has the most cards at this location gets plus 100 power. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So it's cool. It adds added value to cards like Iceman or Okoye or Scorpion, just because they're getting that on-reveal ability really early, even though they're not adding much power, but they're adding that extra slot in Mojo World. That's what I found. But other than that, it's nothing too crazy. It's a bit of bait as well. Like, you can just not go for Mojo World and go for the other 2 locations if they're decent, and your opponent may feel forced to stack like 3 cards on Mojo World just because. Yeah,
I find I always like stack 4 cards on Mojo World and then like not ignore the other locations. But once, I don't know, it's tough because the turn 5 they might like there'd be 2 spots free on Mojo World and I've only got 3 cards on it. And it's kind of like, well, if they play 2 cards there, I automatically lose that location. So it's a tough one because I always feel like I need to fill it.
Yeah.
Tom, what's your thoughts on Mojo World featured?
Tight. It's no problem with it being featured. I think it's an interesting location, but with the deck I've been playing, I've just ignored it because I don't play a lot of cards, so there's no point even going there because I know I'm just going to lose. Doesn't matter how much power I have there. I'm not going to fill it with 4 cards unless I get unless I have Lockjaw and Jubilee in hand. I probably won't even bother touching it and just go for the other 2.
Yeah, that actually sucks. I think I played discard during that, and it actually was okay because if I discarded Swarm, I would just fill it with Swarms.
Yeah.
So it just.
I think the other cool card to add in your deck while Mojo World was featured is like an Electra or Killmonger or a Shang-Chi or something, because if you've got 3 cards turn 5 and they've filled it, usually they'll have a 1-cost card there and you just Electro and you just auto win.
That's true. I didn't think of that. Like a Killmonger probably just automatically wins you that location on turn 6.
Yeah, if you've got no 1-cost cards, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I guess it's all deck dependent. So yeah, I thought the raft was pretty cool for a new location. I think it's nice to get a new location each week. Yeah, I think that's it's fine. It hasn't bothered me yet. I know the Triskelion was very, that was annoying. Yeah, that was a really annoying one for a lot of people. Guys, what decks have you been playing this week? Tom, we'll start with you. What have you been playing?
Well, I've kind of mentioned it. So I've kind of been playing this really just Lockjaw Jubilee deck is probably what I'd call it. That's like the main synergy you want going. So pretty much it runs Sunspot because you're not going to be playing a lot of cards. So if you can get Sunspot out early, you can just buff that throughout the game. Then ideally you want to just play Lockjaw, then Jubilee, because then you get the Jubilee pulls out a card.
Yeah.
And then Lockjaw swaps the Jubilee with another card and just fill it with, a bunch of 5 and 6 cost cards.
No Mr. Negative yet?
No, I haven't unlocked Mr. Negative yet, so cannot play that, but
unfortunate.
I'm looking forward to when that comes out.
Well, it'll probably
when I get that.
My guess is it'll be nerfed by the time you get it, unfortunately. Justin, what have you been playing?
I did unlock Mr. Negative probably 2 days ago.
Oh, nice.
That was awesome, and I do have Lockjaw as well. So I've been running a deck that runs Ant-Man, Sunspot, Ironheart, Wolfsbane, Lockjaw, Devil Dino, Jubilee, Mr. Negative, Iron Man, White Tiger, Jane Foster, and Blue Marvel.
Oh, listen to this guy just rattling off the deck. You should just do a deck profile.
Yeah. So I'll tell you about it. So basically, ideally, Mr. Negative turn 4.
Yep.
Jane Foster turn 5.
Yep.
She gets out all your zero cost cards.
Yeah.
I only run 3 in the deck, which is Iron Man, Devil Dino, and Ironheart.
Yep.
And then turn 6, it's just you drop everything that you can, basically, including those 3 0-cost cards.
You know what you could add? This is a card that you don't really like. You could add Morph.
I did have Morph in there originally, but I don't know. I might try him again. I might give him a go. But I'm getting used to the deck now. And then, because Lockjaw's in there as well, it's another win con, just like Tom's deck kind of thing, where you Lockjaw turn 3 and then you go for a Jubilee turn 4 and maybe a White Tiger turn 5 and try that angle. And yeah, it's been really fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I think the Jane Foster thing, we'll talk about that later. We're going to discuss some buffs and nerfs and things like that. The Jane Foster is an interesting one because it pulls out all those now 0-cost cards. It's actually funny. I versed a Mr. Negative deck today. You were saying with Lockjaw, and they played Lockjaw it was turn 7 because of Magic, and they played it turn 7 where the Lockjaw is. So without the Lockjaw going off, they would have won the location, but it got changed into a weaker card.
Yeah,
and so they lost the location. So that was a bit unfortunate for them.
A cool interaction that I have actually that I've noticed is Lockjaw. I can't remember, Tom, if you had Wolfsbane in your deck, but Lockjaw with the Wolfsbane gets the buff, then swaps back into your deck. If you pull it out again, it's still got the original buff, so you can get some crazy numbers. Pretty cool.
Kind of makes sense because I think the buff must happen first.
Yeah, the buff happens first, then it just swaps for a card in your deck. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Unless it goes back into your deck and then you play Mr. Negative.
Actually, that's the thing about Jane Foster as well. If she's not already in your hand and you play Mr. Negative, she's just unplayable because she becomes 8 cost.
Which is exactly right. I think people would say that she's not good because of that reason, but if you have her in hand and Mr. Negative, it's pretty broken, that combo. Do you have Psylocke at all?
I don't have Psylocke.
Yeah, I don't either, and that's like kind of like I've been playing Mr. Negative a little bit, but I feel like with Psylocke it just makes it so much better. But
what
yeah,
does Psylocke do again?
so you get +1 energy the next turn, so you can play that on turn 2 and then play him Mr. Negative turn 3.
Yeah.
So that's
I did have a game today where I think Pegasus was the location.
Yeah.
Where you get +5 energy, and I had Mr. Negative in hand. So like getting Mr. Negative out early on like turn 1, 2, or 3, it is crazy. Everything's like low cost.
For sure. I saw on Twitter, we're just talking about funny Mr. Negative interactions. I think the card just does so many crazy things. But I saw on Twitter, it was the location that plays a card. It plays a card from your hand. First location, and it played Mr. Negative. And it's like you just auto retreat. Like the entire deck have now flipped costs. Like for the rest of the game, everything they draw is just broken. Which is quite funny. And Tom, I know you were playing a lot of Destroyer. What have you been playing lately? I know you talked about it a little bit.
We went through, pretty much like what Justin said with Lockjaw, Jubilee.
Yeah, Jubilee. Yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
Cool. Did I already go through that with you?
Yeah, you already went through it.
I thought that. Guys, my brain, I got like full brain fog. I was just like, as you were talking, I'm like, wait, didn't we just talk about your deck?
Yeah.
Full brain fog. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully I'll be better next week. Cool. I've just been playing a Cerebro deck. So I was playing it last week. I was talking about it, but I unlocked Magic like a few days ago. Magic, I think it's good in the deck. I'm not sure. It is 3 power, so it does get the buff, and it gets you that extra turn to like play more cards. I'm still tossing up if it's actually good with Magic, because I mean you get way more cards out, but your opponent also gets another turn, so it can also hinder you. It just depends. I'm still trying to figure out if it's good. I've added Shang-Chi to the deck as well. Playing Magic like turn like 6 to throw them off, and then like playing a Shang-Chi, like when I know that there's a location I can just kill something. Shang-Chi gets the buff from Cerebro and Mystique and stuff, and then also just kills their like big card. So that just like, it's pretty broken. It just wins games. Shang-Chi, just good card, I think.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so like you'll end up with like 7, 8 power and also kill something. It's pretty nuts.
Extending the game just ensures that, or makes it more consistent, because you are more likely to draw Cerebro.
Yeah, and there's even like turns where, for instance, like sometimes I've played Magic on turn 5, and then turn 6 instead of playing like Blue Marvel, I can play like 3 2-cost cards, and that's another 3 cards with 7 power, which is pretty insane. And then turn 6 I can play Blue Marvel. Turn 7, play Blue Marvel, and they all get that buff as well. So it's like it's a pretty combo-y deck. Like you have to hit everything in the right order. If you don't get Cerebro, like it's almost impossible to win. So yeah, I've been playing that a bit, but I've kind of just fallen back on like Apocalypse, like discard with Dracula.
I can't
actually
get into those decks.
Do you have Dracula though?
I do have Dracula. I'm pretty sure.
With Dracula, I'll send you a deck list. I'll send you my deck list, but it's pretty much playing Swarm, Apocalypse, all the discard cards with Dracula.
Yeah.
Moon Knight is like, I never thought Moon Knight was a good card, but Moon Knight is my like favorite card right now. There's been so many games, especially against like Sarah. Like I played against like a Sarah Miracle deck. It was actually a good friend of ours that I got matched up with, and it was kind of I played Wong and then played Moon Knight and discarded like, I'm trying to remember what I did. I discarded Sarah and I discarded like something else, another big card. He was just like, I can't win now. So it's kind of like you can snap. Cool. Like I've snapped, like seen they've got like, so he had 0 cards in hand on turn 7. He made a turn 7. He had 0 cards in hand. So I knew he could only play 1 card, and I was already winning 2 locations. I was pretty confident I couldn't lose. And yeah, so like there's just been some dumb games where they, like obviously if they're playing like hella discard, then it's good for them if I discard their cards. But yeah, sometimes like I'll discard an Iron Man, discard a Odin, discard Blue Marvel, and I just laugh because it's like their win condition. A Destroyer, I discarded a Destroyer today, and the guy was just like, "Thanks, bye." But yeah, so like, I get what you're saying, Tom. Like, it's pretty, like, it seems like a simple deck, but you still got to think about like sometimes you have like 3 discard cards in hand, and if you play them, you might discard something you want to use on the next turn. So there's a lot of like, I guess, crunching numbers to like get the best outcomes sometimes.
I feel like that's thing I don't really like about it. I'm just trying to think too much, and then I try and play something that just discards what my plans are, and I'm like, well, shit, now what do I do?
That's exactly what happens sometimes.
So I just Yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten into it. Maybe I just don't have the right cards yet. I feel like I don't have a lot of them.
I'll give you a
Either.
list. I'll give you a list and see what you come up with. I feel like one thing that we need to like really drill into, like not drill into, but people need to understand is you can't just pick up a deck and be good at it, and that goes for any video game.
Yeah.
You can't just play a new character and instantly be good with them. Like I picked up the Mr. Negative deck, and I reckon I lost my first like 3 to 5 games because I was like, I actually don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then eventually it clicks and I go, oh, right. Like, I know I'm meant to play Mr. Negative and then like play all those cards, but it was kind of just figuring out where do I play to win? Like what needs to be where? Like I know with my discard deck, if I play Angela, I usually want to play like Wong and my other weaker cards there because Angela's going to buff and make it like a formidable location. Whereas if I play Angela somewhere where I'm going to play Apocalypse, like it doesn't make sense because he can win a location on his own. Just things like that, yeah. So I think if you're trying a new deck out, stick with it for a day before you decide that you don't like it. It's a bit of free advice there.
I've come back and forth with discard. Like I've tried it I'd get new cards and I tried again, and I think I just don't find it as fun as playing. And because I don't play probably as much as like you guys do, I probably feel like I'd rather play the limited time I have and just have fun instead of trying to like figure and then just getting frustrated because the deck I'm playing now is just so much fun because it's just you can just do some crazy things, and I think that's the appeal I'm getting. Like I'm not really playing to rank up or do anything. I'm just playing to enjoy it for what it is.
I think you're better off playing something that you're going to enjoy because you're going to play the game longer, which I definitely agree with. Like every time I get a new card, like I got Magic, I stopped playing Cerebro, I got Magic, I went, ooh, maybe I can actually revisit this, and I had fun with that for a few days. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Better off playing something you enjoy that's also good rather than like the best deck. If everyone just played the best deck, then it would be a pretty boring game.
And just back to what you said before about sticking with decks, like I unlocked Hela maybe a week ago, which was insane. And then I tried her for like maybe a day, and I couldn't make it work. I don't know what. I don't know if I didn't have the right list or if I didn't have enough practice. I couldn't make it work, and then I haven't touched it since.
And I think that happens. I unlock a card that I've been complaining to you guys ever since we got like pool 3. I just always get bad pool 3 cards, and now I'm realizing I think I'm just. Then when I get a good card, I go like, it's terrible, like it sucks. I think I'm just not. You're just not persisting and learning it properly.
Yeah.
And I mean, even just like watching like YouTube videos and like if there's like people streaming the game, to go and check that out. And like if you find someone playing that deck, you'll learn a bit. Even if they're not like the best player, at least you're going to see someone who has a bit more experience with the deck than you. So yeah, I guess that's probably our advice on that. Just stick with the deck for a bit before you throw it in the trash. And I think we all need, like I do it as well. I just like go, this sucks. I want to hit infinite, throw the deck out, never play it again. Cool. So guys, patch. There's got to be a patch soon. The last patch we had was August 8th. So we're now true? So we've had like updates in terms of like the season pass and stuff. But I mean like an actual game patch with like buffs and nerfs or anything like that. The last one was August 8th, which is like a month. It's quite over a month now. So they were generally like they did say that they were kind of behind on doing a patch, but I think with the game coming out in less than a month global launch, there's like a lot of work they got to get done. I mean, there's like
I wouldn't be surprised if they just wait for the launch and just do a big fix then.
I get it, but I think the problem is the whole point of the beta is to make sure things work before they go live. Like imagine they go launch, global launch, and the black card bug happens every second game all of a sudden. Like that would just hurt. People just won't play the game.
They need to fix that bug. That is super annoying.
So it doesn't happen to me that often. I'm on iOS. It doesn't happen to me that often. But I see some of like our friends. I don't know about you guys. Every time they screenshot something to me, there's black cards on their board, and I'm like, "How are you playing?"
I feel like it comes around about a week or two ago. I feel like I literally never got it once in a while, and then now I'm getting it more often. I don't know what's happening. It just seems like it's just random. Like sometimes it'll work fine, you won't have any issues, and then sometimes like I could just see like I wouldn't even do anything different. Like I think you mentioned it to me when you scroll down on your notification bar. That's when it like triggered it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wouldn't even do that, and it just click in, and then all my cards are black, and it's just. What triggers it? It's like sometimes it's just so random.
I agree though, because when you guys or everyone was complaining about it, I never got it. Only Colossus, but now I'm going through a patch where
No.
every couple of games it'll just have not all of the cards, but like there'll be like maybe 3 or 4
Yeah.
cards on
And
board,
sometimes the
and they'll
name
just go black.
Yeah.
and the name's still there through the black, and it's like, why is that
So
one
annoying.
not? It just doesn't make any sense. But
So
And it annoys me so much. It's like it's unplayable to me.
yeah, I think
no, I wouldn't go that far.
no.
But it's annoying.
Yeah, but,
How
it's
do you
so
play?
annoying.
It's like, imagine you're playing a shooter, an FPS, and all of your entire map just goes black for like a full game.
It's a bit different.
All right, say
Because you can click into it
say
and
you're-
look at it.
alright, say
Like
you-
you still know what card you're playing.
I apologize. Say your crosshair becomes a big black square. Then what do you do? It's like I have
It's
to,
annoying.
like
It's
you say, you
definitely
have to
annoying.
click into it. But what if I've got 7 cards in my hand, and I've got 4 of them have 3 power and like 2 cost? I've got to click into each one and go, what is this card? Like obviously it's not. Well, I was about to say it's not game breaking, but it definitely is game breaking. Like imagine, like obviously there's no official tournaments or
No.
anything, but imagine like you were, I don't know, running your own like little, like there's Cube Rush that Marvel Snap Zone are doing. Imagine you're doing that and you just get that bug like every second game. Like you just, what do you do?
I don't think it's game breaking. I disagree.
You don't
with
think
that.
it's game breaking? Wow.
I've never
Hard
lost a
game
game
breaking.
because of the black cards.
Oh, I definitely have. I've definitely like looked at a board state and gone, I don't actually know what's going on. I'm just going to retreat because I don't actually know what's what. Like-
Maybe not lost the game because of it, but I'll put the game down if it happens like a couple of games in a row.
Which is I feel like so like for instance, I get what you're saying, but like when I see Iron Man, I know, oh well, that's doubling the power there. If I can see, like if I gotta do the math and go, oh, here's a 5 cost with 0 power, maybe it's Iron Man. Like and it's, I get when it's only a few cards. When it's like most of the board and there's 12 cards on each side, that's just, you only get like what 45 seconds to think. Sometimes I take up that 45 seconds just deciding my final turn. If it's like an interesting board state, I think it's like that's fully broken.
It just seems like something that really just shouldn't happen. Like it seems like such an easy fix. Like why is
Yeah.
it happening?
Well,
But
yeah.
Anyway, I'm
it's-
not a developer.
So like Colossus, like the bug with Colossus is still just white. I've just never seen Colossus ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
But like
yeah.
that's I don't consider that game breaking because when I see that I know what the card is. I know what it is.
If
I don't,
each card had its own little shade or different color, it'd be fine.
I'd have like
You just memorize the colors.
you have like a key code. You have like a separate key code, and you just gotta like look at your key code, the color code.
Or if each character had like their own picture, that'd be awesome.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, like they're meant to.
Like the normal card? Oh, sorry, I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. You're saying if the game just actually worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, you were so-
what
you were so-
like what Justin said. It feels like it just should be such an easy fix. Like black squares just should be turned off. Like why is it happening?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
behind the scenes, there must be some big issue because they would have fixed it by now if they could. I'm
Yeah,
sure they would.
You
Agreed.
heard it here first, guys. Infinite Snapper starting their own dev team. Hottest new digital TCG coming at you live. Coming to you guys. It's going to be called Poop because I don't know how to make games.
It's called Hello World or Hello Universe.
Hello Universe. Yeah, Hello Universe. For all the there'll be a few people out there that understand that reference.
I have no idea what you guys are talking
Yeah,
about.
see, I thought it's like the first programming you do in like an IT class.
Okay.
You make an app that says Hello Universe or Hello World when you click something.
Even when I did like a computer science
Degree?
class at uni, it was literally the first day was Hello Universe. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I did this in year 8. It's
It's-
just consistent.
It's literally like there's like just every school in the world just has this same curriculum.
If I pursued that career, imagine your first day of work and be like, hey, make this program. It's called Hello Universe.
Maybe that's what Second Dinner do. Maybe they just sit there making like Hello Universe triggers, and then they're like, oh, actually, maybe we should get back to developing the game.
Maybe we should fix the black squares.
No, but they definitely stated that they knew it was an issue. It just wasn't coming in a patch like with the new season, which hasn't happened. Like, which is what we were told. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. I don't know how many people we have listening from Israel, but the beta is live in Israel as of like 3 days ago or something. So you can get in early, get in like a month early before the global launch. It's kind of interesting they're still expanding the beta now. I think after announcing global launch, you feel like they'd just leave it.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
don't
it is pretty interesting. You'd think they'd have a good pool of like the audience that they're testing off.
for sure.
I don't know.
I don't even know like who they're gonna verse. Like who's gonna be like who are they gonna play against? Like in Australia, New Zealand, like it's probably I want to say it's enough players, but I think we encounter enough bots as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but there you go. You can play it now in Israel if you want to. I didn't actually see if that was Android and iOS, because I know some of the beta drops were only Android. I'd assume it's both, but I'm not entirely sure. So, what are we expecting in the patch? Because it has to be, like Tom's saying, possibly at global launch. I reckon it has to be within the next few weeks, and then another like patch just before they go like global. Or like the global patch doesn't have to be like buffs or nerfs. I don't think that is important, but like just to make sure the game's ready. Like, I mean, they're gonna have a huge influx of players, so they probably need to like get ready for that and make sure everything's gonna work. Do you guys think there'll be any changes to like monetization? Any like game, like I guess like other than bug fixes and like card buffs and nerfs? Do you think there'll be any changes before global launch?
I don't really think monetization wise there'll be any changes.
Yeah.
So probably
too early.
Get a good grasp on everyone's feel of it once the global launch happens. If they're still getting like most people that are complaining about it, they might do something about it. Who knows? But I think they may introduce a few more features for global launch. Surely.
I hope so. I just want PC client. That's like my like everything else can take a back seat for like another few months. PC client is just like we're doing the podcast on a computer, like when I do YouTube videos, if like you like people that want to stream, people that are streaming Marvel Snap, if we just had a PC client, it would just make like life 10 times easier.
Would you rather a PC client or the black card bug?
Ooh.
Black card bug.
It actually doesn't happen to me. It probably happens to me like once a week now. So I will take the PC client. Don't at me.
But
we're split 50-50 here.
In the next week or so, you're gonna cop the black bug. Probably like every second game.
Yeah.
You'll be like, fuck.
No, PC client. There'll be no bug, and so then everyone on PC will have a major advantage.
As usual.
That's how they'll sell. That's how they'll get people on PC. I'm telling you. Nah.
Yeah,
So
I also think game modes, like surely they introduce another game mode or something for global launch.
I think
feel like they should as well.
It's pretty bare. Like as it is, like really. It's not boring, but like people are going to grind it so hard that they're going to run out of things to do, and some people have already had it for I don't know months,
like 3 months. You know what I mean? Yeah, I definitely agree. I think so. Hearthstone launched with 2 game modes. It had like just constructed, which is I guess is the main Marvel Snap mode, and then they had like a draft system, which was called Arena. So you drafted cards, built a deck, and then you had to like get like if you got so many wins, you had to pay like an entry fee. So it was like 150 gold. But if you were good at the game, you could go far and like win more than your money back. But obviously, like
if I remember as well, Clash Royale was the same. I think 2 game modes. You're like standard, ranked, and then also like a what's it called? Like a tournament thing where you pay to enter, like similar thing, pay to enter and get rewards based on your wins or something.
Yeah, correct. Which is like the same thing. I think drafts are cool in card games because it's like Magic the Gathering have done it like since its inception, pretty much, where you pick from like a pool of cards and then you build a deck and you're gonna try and win as many games as you can. I'm thinking so. There's like a website where you can actually do it. So it gives you like 3 cards. You build a deck, then you can build it in Marvel Snap. So it's just like a fun sort of thing that you can do right now. And you can actually give someone the link and then you guys can do a draft together and like make it like a bit of a tournament. Like you converse.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's such a good idea.
When they release the mode where you converse friends, we should do that. Stream it.
Well, so I was like, I'm thinking of doing like just a quick side note. I'm thinking of doing like once a week a YouTube series where I'll like draft a deck and then play like 5 games and like or 3 games, whatever I play, and like try and get like the maximum amount of cubes, and then like save the deck like online, and then every week like see if I can like get build the best draft deck sort of thing. And exactly like you said, like if we could verse each other, you could do like tournaments, but even then you could just play on the ladder and see who gets the most cubes, etc.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like people are already making these game modes outside of the app. Yeah. So I think it's just like bait hanging there ready for them to like actually just integrate into the game. So
I feel if they do a draft mode, I feel like they should just do all cards are just unlocked for it.
Yes, so that's exactly how Hearthstone was. It was you get offered 3 cards each time. You pick one, then you get offered another 3, and you build your. So for instance, in Marvel Snap, you'll build your 12 card deck. But the thing is, you don't keep the cards or anything, so it can be the entire pool of cards, exactly as you said. it would also give you like an opportunity to try out cards that you physically don't have yet. I think drafting in card games is just like they just go hand in hand. Like I can't imagine like there are card games without draft, but I think it's just like especially for Marvel Snap, it like just makes sense. I don't think it'll come with global launch, but I think it's like down the pipeline somewhere.
Yeah. I've got a feeling global launch would just be a ranked and a standard mode, maybe. I don't think it's going to be anything special.
I think it's going to be the game exactly as it is, with buffs and nerfs and nothing else. I just think
that wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes sense.
I've got just some discussion questions after we go through buffs and nerfs, which pretty much is discussing like the dev team, etc. So we'll skip that for now. Apologies. So card buffs and nerfs. Let's start with nerfs because I feel like they're the easiest ones to go through. I made a little like graph thing today, which I posted on Reddit. Thanks for everyone that upvoted that. It was like my first like actually like fairly well upvoted post. It was kind of fun to make
cool
too.
Graph, gotta say.
Yeah, I'll bring up just a part of it here. So I've got here. So I was pretty much just like getting data. So all the data from SnapFan, the website, they do a really good job at like collecting data, even though the game's still in beta. I feel like when it goes global launch, their deck tracker will be more like when there's a PC client, their deck tracker will be have a lot more features, and we'll be able to get even more data. But yeah, I kind of just culminated it into like a easy to like look at graph, because when you're just looking at a bunch of numbers, it's like your head just like explodes. So this is just like a simple way to look at, I guess, the like most like win percentage of cards. The caveat with this is, for those that are listening to the podcast and can't actually see this, if you head to @ShadowDTV on Twitter, you'll be able to see that on there. Or if you're like on Spotify or YouTube, you can watch the podcast, so you'll be able to see it. But we're going to talk about it anyway, so don't stress. So I've just got like the top 10 cards by win percentage, and the important thing to note is this isn't like if the card is in your deck, it's when the card is actually played or like I guess seen by the game. So because it's the deck tracker like it can't track what cards are in your opponent's deck. Like that's just not a thing unless your opponent's also using the deck tracker. So for now,
to know, actually.
Sorry, say that again.
It's good to know. I thought it was just cards in deck.
No, so it's like those stats. Unless you have access to like the back end of Marvel Snap, there's like no way to actually there's no way to actually get that data. So yeah, this is top 10 cards by win percentage when the card's played. So first up by like a decent margin, 64% of times Hela is played, it wins, and this makes sense because it just brings back a ton of big cards if everything goes right. So the important thing to note is a few people on Reddit made a note that like they hope people don't misinterpret this data, because it doesn't mean Hela is the best card in the game. It just means when it's played, it generally wins 64.77% of the time. But there will be plenty of games where Hela's like not going to win you the game, so they retreat. So those stats wouldn't add to this data. Yeah. So that's like an important thing.
Half the time with Hela, she just gets discarded anyway.
That's right. So that was a lot of people made that point, and some people were like, so is Hela like the best deck? And the answer is, in my opinion, no. But then the next one is Mr. Negative at 61.5%. So that's like a good like 3.3% lower win rate than Hela. So it's interesting. Then we've got Infinite, similar. Jane Foster, which was an interesting one, but then I realized it's because it works with Mr. Negative. Rogue was next, 60%, and Mystique. Rogue was an interesting one. I think Rogue like is pretty underestimated. I've lost like plenty of games to Rogue. It's not like a super highly played card, but I think the decks that do play it.
What does it do?
So Rogue steals a ongoing ability from a random card on your opponent's side. So there's been games where I just have like if you've got Devil Dinosaur and that's your only ongoing ability there, it just becomes 0. It's like
is that a pull 3 card?
Yeah, it is. It's like
because I have never seen anyone use Rogue. Maybe a couple of times. Yes. I have Rogue and I've never used it. Yeah, so I think it's like for a control deck, it's quite good. It's like a Shang-Chi almost for like ongoing cards. Of course, if they have multiple ongoing cards there, it can backfire. But I had a few people on Reddit saying like they're glad to see Rogue in there because they play it. Mystique just can be used in a lot of decks. Can copy an ongoing ability, like it can do some pretty crazy stuff. Ghost Rider was an interesting one. Like Ghost Rider has a powerful ability, but I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like I guess it's played in like what is it? It's played in like what Hela discard? It'd be played in like but also I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of times like a Lady Sif, Infinite, Ghost Rider You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah, because Ghost Rider brings back... Oh, sorry, of course, that makes sense. So Lady Sif discards Infinite, Ghost Rider brings it back. That's stupid. So I can understand, like, if you've got a bunch of big cards similar to, like, Hela, Ghost Rider is pretty cool. Sarah was next, 58%, then Destroyer, 58%, and then Death, 58%. So the thing I noticed with this is there's a lot of big cards, and I'd say that's pretty much just Hela discard. Is like Infinite is winning games because Hela brings it back. Sarah
Rider brings it back.
Brings back Death. Sarah makes cards cheaper. So, like, I kind of can see that. So that's the thing. It's not to take these, like, percentages as, wow, these cards are the best in the game. They're good, but on their own, they're probably not like, some of them on their own aren't the best cards.
Yeah.
Like the Infinite, if you don't have any synergies with the Infinite and you're just doing nothing turn 5, playing it turn 6, it's kind of weak, in my opinion. But when you synergize it, like you said, with Ghost Rider and Hela and stuff, it's pretty nuts.
What was the next? Surely the 11th card was Wave, because I came across a couple of Death Wave decks for the first time in ages, and I forgot how OP that combo is.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
It's horrible.
I'll have a look for you during the week. I don't think it was Wave, but I will definitely check that for you. Like, we can look at this graph. I thought I'd use this graph just for, like, some ideas about buffs and nerfs, etc., rather than you guys just, like, rattling it off the top of your head. So what, like, you just, in your opinion, doesn't have to be based off the graph, what card, pick, like, maybe one card, let's do, like, 2 to 3 cards that you think need to be nerfed. Justin?
Like I just said, I think Death needs to be nerfed. I don't know how they would do it, but that specific interaction with Wave is, like, it's game breaking because you can get that off. You could get that off consistently every game as long as those 2 cards end up in your hand by turn 3.
So,
I don't know. Maybe they can change the wording to say, or just change the rules, the math, to say that, you know, Death is still 4 power on turn 4.
Oh, you mean 4? Wait. What do you mean?
4 cost. Sorry, Death is 4 cost even after Wave.
Oh, sorry. I understand what you're saying, because Wave is played and then it's 4 cost and then it takes off. The ability can get it to 0. Sorry. Correct. Yes, but I get what you're saying.
The way that when I first saw it, I was like, why does this work? I just initially thought that Wave makes all cards in your hand for next turn cost 4.
Yeah.
So why is Death getting that deduction?
So yeah, it's interesting. I'm just trying to think, and I'm actually not sure about this interaction, but if Iceman makes one of my cards cost, like, say it goes from 4 to 5, and then you play Wave, or they play Wave, does it go to 4 or does it stay at 5? It would have to stay at 5.
I'd say it goes to 4.
Which then it kind of it's interesting.
It typically says all cards next turn, or something like that, are 4 cost.
Yeah, it's I guess it's like a game rule, I guess, that if a card is it's interesting. I guess they could change the wording of it. So, like, they could put in brackets unless changed by another card.
They don't have to even change the wording, I think. I think they should just change the way that it works. Death, I get that Death is for the cards destroyed minus that from the cost, but if Wave is making every single card cost 4, I don't know. It makes sense. It does actually make sense how it is, but it shouldn't be like that.
I definitely get it. I think the issue is, like, they got to convey that to their players. Like, if you're a casual player, you pull it up, you play a game. Hang on, why doesn't Death work anymore?
It's definitely OP.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see where you're coming from. Tom, give us one card you think needs a nerf.
Let me think. I don't really know. I feel like
Destroyer.
Nah, Destroyer is great.
Your favorite deck?
I actually don't think that would need a nerf, because I feel like it's so
situational a little bit.
Yeah, you've got to set it up. You can't just get it and play it. You have to have done the setup for it. I know, like, I haven't been done by it pretty much, but I think Hela's pretty good. So I don't know if it actually does need to be nerfed.
Hela, when I figured out that Jane Foster, no, sorry, that's missing name. I played against a Hela deck, and I realized when they discard all those big cards, I should just retreat.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to win. Whereas I just like, oh man, they've lost all these cards. And then the first time it happened, I'm like, oh, that's a good deck.
But also, I can guarantee you that well, actually, I can't guarantee you because I don't know the stats, but they would not pull that off often.
No, but there's a lot of decks like I think of my Cerebro deck. Yeah, I need to hit the combo perfectly, and even then, it's like maybe 20 to 30 at like 20 at each location. It's like hella discard probably just gonna win anyway. Of course. Look, it's not gonna win every game. There's no deck in this game that will just be undefeated forever. Like it's just the way the game's made with the randomness of the deck. It's just impossible for there to be like a unbeatable deck.
There's no Mew in this game.
Mew VMAX from Pokemon. Nah, that's
pay to win.
I mean, hey, we complained about it's like other trading card games. It always happens. There's always that one deck. Oh, this deck's too good. It's the worst. Like they need to get rid of it. And then like a couple new sets come out. We get in Marvel Snap. We get a couple new cards, and then all of a sudden the deck's not that good anymore. Like that's definitely. I've been doing on YouTube. I've been doing like looking at the data mined cards from the game, and I look at some cards and go, wow, this is gonna make this like average deck fully broken. Like, and I'm like, when this card comes out, people are going to complain. They're going to be like, oh, this is like unfair. And it's just, that's how it is. I heard some people on Reddit today saying how they're sick of seeing the same decks over and over again. But I mean, that's just how trading card games are. Yeah. Like they're going to be stale. The meta gets stale eventually, and then they refresh it with some new cards, and then all of a sudden it's fun again, I guess.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think has to be nerfed?
I didn't want you to ask me this question. So what do I think needs to be nerfed? Oh, actually, that's an easy one. So, Mr. Negative definitely has to be nerfed. I think people are just like I'm hearing people like be really mad about the card, and I just kind of get it because it goes from a board state similar to like Hello, where it just brings back a bunch of crazy cards. I'll just be like on turn 6, like they played Mr. Negative. Now I've got to do all this math to figure out how I lose. And it's like, okay, so Iron Man would be free, and if they play it here, it's just a lot of thinking to like figure out. And a lot of the time, I just look at it and go, if they play Iron Man and they play White Tiger, I just lose.
Question for both of you though.
Yeah.
The cards that you chose, how do they nerf them?
Yep. So I actually thought about this one. I'll go first with Mr. Negative. Make the ability swap the cost and the power, but make the cost add 1. So if it's a 0 cost card, it will now cost 1. If it was a 1 cost card, it now costs 2. So yes, they still get like a powerful card, but on turn 6 or 7, they can't just swarm the board with a bunch of 0 costs. If they at least cost 1 or 2, they can't play like a 5 cost card and then 3 0 cost cards. They can play a 5 cost card and 1 cost.
Yeah.
Does it make it like a bad deck? Maybe, but the way the game is, like it's not like you paid money to get that card. So it's kind of like
what about just simply reducing the power to like 2
of Mr. Negative?
Or, yeah.
But that doesn't fix the problem at all.
It does. Because 4/4, right? You're putting like an average 4 cost card on the board, and I don't know, what's the biggest card that you can get from a Mr. Negative 0 cost?
Like you say,
Iron
the
Man.
biggest.
If you put
that's
Iron Man
huge.
on him, then but with Mr. Negative at 2 cost or 2 power or 0 power, you're reducing the buff.
All right, hear me out. You get Iron Man 0 cost. You play Iron Man on like your 9 power monster that you got from that location that gives you a 9 power monster. And you also get to play.
28.
Yeah, you're on like 18. Yeah, like so you're already on 18. That you don't have to play it where Mr. Negative was. Plus, I still have 6 to 7 mana that turn to play cards.
Yeah.
Whereas if and you say like, oh, 4 power, it's too powerful. What about Wong? He's like a 4 cost 2 power. He's absolutely garbage for power. But when I discard Apocalypse 4 times or 6 times even on turn 6, and Dracula like takes a 40 power card, it's like. I don't think Mr. Negative's issue is his power. His issue is his ability is just like really broken. Like same with Hela. I don't think changing Hela's power makes her a bad card. You could make her power 0, and I still think she'd be like, as long as the combo hits.
You can still pull them off.
You can still pull off like 40 power in a turn.
They could just not even change, like, I know, like how you said about the +1 cost, but maybe they could even limit after you play him how many cards you play for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be you can only play 2 or 3 cards.
I think that makes him. I think that kind of makes him like useless though. That like at least this way you have a choice of the cards. Whereas if it's like, oh, you can only play like if it's like oh, you can only play 2 cards per turn, it just kind of defeats the purpose of him. I guess. I think that's too big of a nerf in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I think like if you like we said, like if you play Jane Foster and draw 3 0 power cards, if instead you're drawing, I guess that kills the Jane Foster combo.
Jane Foster will just be unusable, which is fine.
Yeah, that makes it that could really, really harm it now that I think about it. I think something has to happen. It just when they play it, if they Psylocke it out turn 3, I'm just like, I don't know how I win most of the time.
Yeah.
It was just there's too many things that could happen to like I gotta wrap my head around to try and like figure out the math. Tom, what was your card?
Hello.
Hello, that's right. And Justin, what was your card?
Death.
Death, that's right. What? So death, Death Wave. What you don't have a fix for it, do you?
I don't know. I was just trying to say let's change that interaction with Wave, but I don't. It like you're right though. The wording has to change for that.
I think they can just put in like that. That's like just the easiest way to fix things. Like just have like a clarification on the card that changes how it interacts with things. I feel
like they try to limit the writing on the cards. You don't want to You don't want to get things to a game like Yu-Gi-Oh where you have to like read an essay to understand what the card does.
Just a quick tangent. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which is like their like it's like their digital version of that like full-fledged card game, not like Duel Links or like a light version.
Yeah.
And because I haven't played for like 15 years or 10 years or whatever it is, every time I'm like, oh, they played a card. Give me 2.5 minutes. Oh, they played another card. They play like 10 cards a turn. I'm like, I don't have the time for this anymore.
Yeah.
So you are definitely right. They are limiting the words to make it, I guess, more friendly for players, and obviously it's a mobile game. If you've got 3 minutes per game and you've got to read for 3 minutes, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. All right. Those are our buffs. We'll just do one because I'm like, we could talk about buffs for ages.
Right, what
Nerf for ages.
How do we fix Halo?
Oh, yeah, we kind of discussed it. Tom, do you have a fix for it?
Maybe just bring back 2 random cards you've discarded, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. You just cap it, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is a fix.
That's the easiest way.
I feel like it would make it really bad too. Because how big's Hela? 6'6"?
But then if you only discard 2 cards, like just say you try and limit to what you discard, then you know what's coming back.
I think the problem with it is because you don't get to pick where they go. If you don't fill up your boards, you don't have a say. Like obviously that's already the case. But it's like fine if you don't have a say where they go. If you're bringing out 6 cards and like 3 of them are like 14 plus power, then you don't care where they go because you're probably just going to win regardless. Whereas if it's only 2 cards, problem is, does it just randomly pick what 2 cards? It'd have to.
Yeah, so if you've discarded 4 or 5, then it only picks 2 random cards.
It would. I like the idea. But it would make it bad because if you discard like a Lady Sif or something, it's all of a sudden like
they
really
could just
bad.
Balance it, like maybe try 3 cards at first, you know.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like the whole strength of it is like, oh, I'm just gonna discard my entire hand, and as long as I finish with Hela in hand, I win. Whereas now it's gonna be, I played Hela, I brought back a 4-power Lady Sif and a 3-power Blade, and then I like the idea though. I think they'd have to do a little bit more to get it to stay, I guess, like relevant. But I like all the ideas, boys. That's a
I wonder what they look at when they consider nerfs and buffs. Like they must have some sort of data that they're looking at or something.
Definitely. They would definitely have data like we've got this graph which is pretty simple and it doesn't really give you the full picture. They would definitely have all those stats and would make decisions based on that for sure.
It'd be interesting to see what they look at to make decisions because obviously we're just going off what our experiences are playing.
Sure.
But they would know the intricacies of actual interactions and whatnot.
They could even crunch numbers and be like, okay, let's say if we only made it 3 cards, like you said, what are the chances that the deck's still pretty good? And they could, I guess, crunch those numbers. Like, even if they have to play test it, they play test it for like a week in like their testing server. Yeah. So I definitely.
Surely when they're going through that, they just see which cards have been played the most, and they just go, "Wow, why is this being played so much?"
Well, it's trial and error as well, like the fixes. Like, and I think digital games, it makes it easy. They can just test something. If it's bad, they just backflip on it if they have to. Whereas like a physical game, once a card's printed, they can errata it. But like if you just have to like change everything, the game's like unplayable. Cool. All right. And card buffs. This is a tough one. I was gonna make a graph of like the least played cards and the least win percentage with cards, which I will try and have for next week. But like just off the bat, just one card you think would need a buff, even if it's a card you play and you just like it but don't think it's that good.
I have no idea for this.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
I really don't know. I was thinking, just because Nick Fury is fresh in our heads from the season pass,
yeah.
I was thinking Nick Fury and what could they do for it? I was thinking maybe they make him a 4 cost, 5 power, and reason being is so you see what 6 cost cards are in your hand and you have at least a turn to set up before you use those 6 cost cards.
Even on top of that, if you have like Quinjet out and you play him on turn 4, your 6 cost card will cost 5.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone using him at 5 cost. Like it's just RNG.
I think everyone tried to make it work for like a week. We discussed this last week, and it just doesn't work. So I like that. I actually like that. It's a new card. We want it to be like playable. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Tom, did you have one in mind? I really didn't think about this one. You're just looking at the cards. I think.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at cards. I'm like, it's hard to think of buffs because you're not playing them, so they're not fresh in your mind.
For sure. Yeah. I think like this is a simple one, but maybe some buffs to the. I was going to say cards with no abilities, but then that would make Patriot a bit broken. Maybe like Domino and like Quicksilver, like they're just bad cards. If they could somehow make them not bad, like what if Quicksilver was like 3 power?
That's true.
And like, what's Domino? Like a 2-3 power?
2-3.
Make Domino like 4 power.
2-4.
Like it sounds silly, but I feel like it probably still doesn't make them playable, but it probably makes them not like crap. You get what I mean?
Yeah, you'd consider it. You could consider playing them.
Yeah, like it probably still won't, but yeah, that's actually a really tough one. If I had that graph, it might have given us a bit more of a idea. But yeah, I guess we'll leave the nerfs there. Before we move on, anything else you want from global launch? Like anything that you really want, even if you don't think it'll happen?
Not really.
No black squares.
No black squares. That's it.
I think that's number one.
No black squares. We're good.
If that's fixed, then and I want to see Colossus. I think
I want to see all my Colossus variants.
I couldn't even tell you what the card looks like. Honestly,
he's just faded. He's faded into a memory.
It's probably obvious one.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Bots.
Just quickly, Justin, we spoke about this last week, but do you think that Infinite will be harder to get when there's no bots?
Not necessarily.
No,
people are forever complaining about cheating bots.
So that was confirmed. That was confirmed in the official Discord. That
I have a story about that.
The bots.
That I think it's cheating.
Yeah.
No. So like apparently, I saw some. I haven't actually looked at it myself in the Discord, so probably don't quote me on it right now. I'll definitely check it. But I saw screenshots of devs saying that the bots snap and stuff because they already know the RNG outcomes. So they're not as necessary. So like you know the location where 25% of times it destroys a card, they know before they play the card if it destroys it or not.
Okay.
So and here's my thing. Okay, there's cheating bots. They're still damn easy to beat. People are complaining that like no offense. Like if you're losing to bots, like it's fine.
I'm losing to bots.
Yeah, no. I lose to bots as well. Like I have to retreat, and sometimes I'll be super confident and just lose 8 cubes. It definitely happens. But like, I'm just seeing this outrage that the game is impossible to play. Like, yes, if you're complaining because the bots are boring and you want to play against human players, completely understand. Because it's like, what's the point of playing a competitive game against the computer? If there was a game mode, sure, like a single player mode where that was the point, then that's great. But I think like I just see people like, oh, the bots are cheating. It's impossible to get to infinite. I'm never going to get there because the bots are cheating. It's like the bots. The way the retreat mechanic works is if the bots are doing well, you just retreat at 1 cube. Like the bot's not. I played a bot today, and it just did the dumbest things. It was impossible for me to lose the game. Like I was winning 2 locations. It's turn 6, and they played like a Colossus, and I won all 3 locations, and they snapped, and it was like 8 cubes. Like there was physically no way for them to win, but they still went all in. So I think it's a bit of sometimes the bots like just hit the nuts, but I mean as a player, like I could verse one of you guys and you could hit all of your combo pieces and I miss them all. That's just the game. So I don't think it's like when we say cheating bots, it's bots who already know the outcomes, which I guess is cheating, but the bots are already not as smart as a human player. So even with the prior knowledge of the RNG, they're still less skilled than a human person. So I think you definitely still lose to bots. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you're not winning every game against a bot. But I don't think it makes you like you're not going to go from 60 rank to 30 because of the bots. if you get what I mean.
Yeah, and also I don't really care about not reaching infinite. Like in other games, I don't know. Last season I found it so easy to reach infinite, and then when I got there, I was like, all right.
Listen to this guy. Cool. Oh, the infinite's so easy, guys. Wow.
No,
the
it
ego.
Happened last season. I played pool 2 discard deck, and I just got there.
But that's the point. Then, the game is not determined on, oh, I've got the tier 0 broken deck, I'm gonna win every game. It's learning the retreat mechanic is the key to like ranking up. As long as you learn to retreat, like when I look at a board, sometimes I'm like, oh, I really just wish I could get 8 cubes here. We've already snapped it. I'm going to lose 4 cubes, but I know I can't win. Like if I know they've got like the Mr. Negative scenario or the Hallett scenario, if Giganto gets discarded, if they will get discarded and I look at my hand and go, I literally can't win, just retreat. I feel like people are like just especially I've seen like TCG players, like long time trading card players, like in the first few weeks, they're like, oh, this game's like so hard to rank up. It's just getting their head around the retreat mechanic. It's a gambling mechanic. It's like poker. You could have, if you've got the worst hand in the world and you're snapping, if they commit, you risked those 8 cubes. Like you knew what you were doing. Whereas if you have a great hand and they have a better hand, that's just bad luck. And that's like how the game goes, I guess.
It's not a huge deal.
No, I don't think it's easy to get to infinite or anything, but I think it's not unattainable. Like Hearthstone, getting legend in Hearthstone, depending on the season, can be really hard. Like you might have to play hundreds of games and they're like, 5 to 10 minutes, not 1 to 3 minutes. And you're losing the same amount of rank as you're getting, so it's even harder. Like you can play 1,000 games of Hearthstone and have like maybe a 50% win rate. I have to do the math. No, I feel like
that's the point I was trying to make. That's how it should be. Like in Clash Royale, I played since the game's release for like 4 or 5 years.
I get what you're saying.
And I never ever made it to the top rank.
I got what you're saying now.
Fine, but the rewards that you get at the top rank should be not just like a cool card back. It should be like something insane, like credits and gold and this and that, because you put so much time into it.
I kind of get what you're saying, but then the other thing of that is if it's like let's say 10,000 people hit infinite every month, that's like a lot of free stuff to give 10,000 people. Like
yeah, and not over the top, but like just not a card back or not something aesthetic. Like give you something, give a decent amount of rewards.
So I think
the card back is cool. The card
I was
back is awesome, by the way.
I think like if like what you're saying is if it's not like insanely difficult to get infinite, I feel like that's their intention, or else they wouldn't put like a cosmetic there. Like imagine infinite was like only top 10,000, then you're probably not getting that card back. Whereas like in Hearthstone, the difference between like the rank before legend and legend is like 1 extra pack. That's literally the difference. So anyone that's like semi-decent at the game can get to the like Diamond 5, which is just before Legend. And then from there to Legend, you got to win like 25 games like consecutively. Like you can lose and you just move back. So you need to end up positive 25. Did I do that math right? 3, 6, 9, positive 15. So it's like, but all you're getting is 1 extra pack and the bragging rights. So I think it's fine that not everyone can hit the max rank. Whereas when you're offering like a cosmetic that you like potentially never going to be able to get again, I think they have to make it like semi-attainable, or like you said, just don't have the cosmetics back in the season pass, and at infinite rank you get like 500 gold or 1,000 gold or whatever, and make it harder to get to infinite. I think it's going to be way harder when all the bots are gone. I think it's going to be way harder because for every 8 cubes you win off me, I lose 8 cubes. So, like, if I'm winning cubes off bots because they just snap to 8 and they're garbage, like, that's just free cubes. When it's real players, 9 times out of 10, you're going to retreat at 1 cube if you're a good player. So, like, you seen, if you started at rank 1 as a new player, you essentially need, what, like 900 cubes? I think we did the math.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you're not winning it, if you're winning, then you're taking the cubes from the other person.
Correct.
So if you're hitting infinite, basically someone else is not hitting infinite.
You're stopping someone, yeah. So whereas right now, I think it's just like everyone can kind of, as long as you put in the hours, like even if as long as you have like you don't even need to have a 50% win rate in Marvel Snap. If you're retreating at 1 cube and winning at 8 cubes, you can have a below 50% win rate and still get there. I think it's just a time thing and a learn the retreat mechanic. And I think as long as you put in the time, you just get there.
Yeah, because not all wins are equal.
Yeah, and but even in Hearthstone, as long as you have, even if you have a 51% win rate, yes, it might take you 300 games, you will get there. So it's it's more a time thing than a, obviously you have to be skilled, of course, but it's not I'm the best player in the world. I play 5 games and I'm infinite rank. Every season, I just infinite automatically because I'm the best. It's not like a shooting game where you play some ranked matches and because you're so good, you're almost max rank. This is kind of I think you're stealing cubes from other people. So yeah, it's interesting. I think it'll be a lot harder. That ended up being way longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I know. What's your story, Tom? I'm hanging out for your cheating bot story.
Oh, sorry, the cheating bots. Oh,
I can't remember the exact scenario, but the last turn, I knew if I played leader, whatever they played, I win. Didn't matter what it was, they just needed to play a card. I can't remember exactly what happened, and then the bot just didn't play anything.
Wow.
I just lost. So it's it knew I had leader and knew I was going to play it.
But did you check how many cards it had in hand?
Yeah, it definitely had cards in hand.
You checked? You didn't discard any of that? No, you don't play Moon Knight.
No, I didn't discard anything. They had a card in their hand. I can't remember exact the scenario.
I'm trying to think though, if they were already winning all the locations.
No, I was winning one.
Tough one.
Let me see if I took a screenshot of it.
But see, here's the thing. No, hang on. If you were winning one and you play leader, but wouldn't they have to play a card at that location for you to win? They had to play a card where you played leader.
No, leaders. The way leader works is
I know how leader works, but if you were only winning one location, if they played it at a location where leader wasn't, you would still only win one location.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I do remember they just didn't play anything, so leader did nothing.
But that's the thing. Leader, we discussed this. I saw people discussing this. People saying on Reddit leader is broken, but leader's a win more card. So you already have to be winning for leader to generally work. If you're
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're just betting on this leader to win you that second location, like you said, if they don't play anything there, I get what you're saying. Maybe the bot knew, which is definitely possible, I guess. But I saw people even saying against real players leader's the worst. But if they're not already winning both locations, leader probably doesn't win them the game anyway.
Yeah, and also you can, even if the game is even on every location and you play a leader, it doesn't mean that every location is still going to be even.
Yeah, that's
or it doesn't mean that you're going to win that location because you've played leader. It depends on all the other cards there.
That's the point. It has to be, you have to already be winning for leader to matter.
Yeah, I came across a funny interaction. I won't tell you the outcome, but if both players play a leader on turn 6 at different locations, watch what happens. It's hilarious.
They would copy, and then they would copy, and then they would copy. Would they just keep copying each other until they fill up the board?
Nah, it was weird. I couldn't make sense to it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, we should post that on Reddit and find out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's some research we have to do. I'm just looking at time. This is not a long discussion. So I was thinking how we only get one card each month, whereas a traditional card game, even in real life or Hearthstone, you'll get a set of 100+ cards every 3-4 months. So we're getting 3 cards every 3 months? Let's say every 4 months we're getting 4 cards right now. Do you think that means that the dev team should have more time to spend on things like new game modes, fixing bugs, etc.? Or do you think it's it's more do you think that they can focus more on all these enhancement things and making the game I guess appeal to more people, since they're not having to make hundreds of cards every set? And just food for thought, Hearthstone now have a dev team of 70+ employees. I believe Second Dinner have I want to say 15 maybe. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less, but it's quite a small dev team at the moment. So with that information, what's your thoughts on that discussion question? Tom, we'll go with Tom first.
I think, realistically, if they're not making cards, or they're only making one card a month, I'm not sure how long that would take.
And take this into account, there's been 50+ cards data mined. So they already have a bunch of cards. We don't know if they're fully programmed into the game, but they have abilities and powers and costs. So let's assume that like most of them are already programmed. Yeah, go from there.
So, well, yeah, if they're doing behind the scenes, they might be making all these cards. I feel like if they've got, like you said, up to 50 ready to go or almost ready to go, then surely they're thinking of releasing them more than one at a time, because it just doesn't make sense to have 50 cards waiting for 50 months to be released. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
To have all those done. So, but there's this thing we don't know. We're not on the development side, so we don't know how long it takes for them to make a card. They might think of a card in a day, test it in 2 days, and then 3 days, then the card's ready to go. We just don't know how long it takes.
I definitely think it takes longer than that. Yeah, I was like, I think you'd know that probably takes longer than that.
Rough, but we just don't know. Maybe one day they'll get an idea of a card, bang, done. They just got it out, and then maybe the people how many people are going to be testing it? Is the whole entire staff going to be testing it? So I think it's just too hard of a question to answer, considering we just don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
For sure. I think what you said makes sense. I guess like if they stay ahead and they're always like 5 to 10 cards ahead, it means when there's bugs and things, they have time to try and fix them. So maybe they'll keep making cards for the future. Justin, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't really know. I think yes, it does. It gives them enough time to polish the game and work on bugs and other things. And who knows what their plans are for the game? But they're obviously, if they're not working on, 100 cards for the end of the season or whatever, then they're obviously working on something else. But what that is, I don't know. It could be polishing up the game or adding new game modes or future things that they're adding to the game. But I agree with Tom that they have to release more cards more often. They can't release one card a month, because I was thinking about it today. It's kind of like not a lose-lose situation, but like if you're bringing out one card for a whole month, that's like 30 days on average, whatever it is.
28 days, yeah.
If the card is a really good card, right? Everyone's buying the season pass. Yep. Everyone's getting access to that card straight away.
Yep.
Everyone is using that card. Just say it's overpowered. Everyone's using that card.
Yeah.
So then what's the point of releasing that card kind of thing? Because if everyone's using it, then it's like, man, it's going to kill the game a little bit. On the opposite side of the scale, if it's a bad card, then everyone's going to be annoyed for the whole month.
Yeah.
Everyone has to, like Nick Fury, I haven't seen anyone play Nick Fury anymore. No one comes across it. No one talks about it. There's no hype about the season pass, and that will go on for literally the whole month. Why would they want to do that?
So, in the future, would you wait a week to see if the card's actually good? And if it's bad, would you not buy the season pass? Like, personally?
At the moment, I just buy the season pass regardless, because I want to support the devs. It's a cool game. I'm enjoying it, whatever. In the future, I wouldn't wait. If I feel like it's going to be a really good card, then I'll for sure buy the season pass. If I think it's going to be a bad card, maybe I'll wait. I don't know.
So let's think of it as let's think of someone who's not maybe they're a bit younger, maybe they don't, they might have a job, they might be studying, they don't have a ton of money to just throw at video games. Those sort of people maybe would wait, and then they hear the reviews of the card, and then they might go, nah, I'm not going to buy it. I guess we're talking...
Watch some YouTube videos. Yeah. Or, watch your YouTube video and be like, hey, this guy reckons this card's really good. I'm going to spend my money on the season pass.
That's right.
Oh, this guy reckons it's trash. What's the point of buying that?
Yeah. So I think that definitely is a good point. Okay, so follow-up question. What's the ideal amount of cards you think should be released? And on what type of schedule? Like monthly, every 3 months, every 4 months? Tom?
I think it just depends how many cards they're going to release. I think. So
that's my question. How many to keep you interested in the game every month?
Yeah.
Or every say it was only every 3 months you got a big hit of cards. How many cards would you need you think for the game's longevity? I guess. 5, 10, 3, 5 a month, 10 every 3 months.
Yeah, I think maybe 3 or 4 a month, maybe 1 a week. They could even do it.
Ooh, that's a spicy. What's that? That's just 52 a year. So it's a lot, but I can see where you're coming from. If they've got 50 cards a year compared to other TCGs is not a lot.
Nothing. But then also with a lot of others, TCG, especially Pokemon, there's just a lot of random
Garbage.
cards that
Yeah.
are just completely useless. So there's a difference between. I don't think they're going to want to do that. I think most of their cards they want to be somewhat playable.
Yeah.
Like obviously they've got some of the early cards that are just, no abilities, no nothing. They're just kind of there.
I think with your idea of like one a week, so let's say 50 cards a year, if they had like a rotation system and they rotated out old cards, I feel like that could work. I feel like if you just end up with like hundreds of cards in the game, it becomes like pretty overwhelming. Justin, what's your thoughts? Like, what's your idea?
I keep comparing the game to Clash Royale just because it's that similar
like,
8-card deck that you're using. Every card's different. You can only use one per deck. So when I was playing that, they actually went through phases. So like sometimes it was one a week. I found that pretty overwhelming because I feel like even with Nick Fury, Season Pass came out. I probably tried to play him for a week.
Yeah.
Just to see like, different interactions and whatever. Especially with this game, there's a lot of RNG. So, I didn't know if he was good or not until I playtested him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe a week for playtesting and then a week to actually use the card before another one comes out. I'd say probably once a fortnight is like a good middle ground.
So 2 a month, yep.
2 a month, but I don't think they have to stick to that necessarily. Like, they could have a break over Christmas or a break over Easter or school holidays. They have a break for a little bit, like whatever. But I think 2 a month is probably a decent amount.
So here's an idea. I was just thinking of it while we were talking about it. What if you got like start of the season pass, you get a card straight away, and instead of getting a variant at 50, you get another card on the theme.
That'd be cool.
Now you have a reason. Like say the first card's like good, but then like the ability of do you think that's unfair? I guess people could pay to skip 50 tiers, which would be really expensive. But then I guess people would complain about, but you can buy the card. Which, I mean, the season pass is already that anyway. So I guess it wouldn't really matter. I think that would be fine. Because like with the season pass, like yes, I'm doing the missions, but I don't really care too much about like, I'm getting a variant. Like but if I was achieving a card, it would probably really incentivize me to play. Okay,
but then do they increase the value of the season pass?
No. Leave it at 15. They leave it at 15 Australian dollars, 12, 10, whatever it is elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's viable?
It's a cool idea. I only spend money on the season pass, so the $15, whatever it is. And then, I'm probably getting halfway in almost 2 weeks. Not exactly half a month, but say almost 2 weeks. I'd get halfway.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, I think like if you're like going if you're like I know what you're saying, like they want you to pay to like get the card early. But my thing is it's not like I can just go and buy packs. Like if you just made packs available, even if you get one card per pack, and I just like I'd probably drop $100 just to get a bunch of cards. Like I'd actually, because like other games I would do that to play with the cards now. But obviously with collection level, like you're buying credits, it works out to be really, really bad in terms of value. Like you'd probably have to spend thousands of dollars to actually get all the collection level cards. So like that's obviously not feasible. I don't know. I think having that back catalog of cards means it gives them time to like fix bugs, work on new game modes. So I think it's like a bit of a buffer as well. So I don't want them to like run out of that buffer too soon. But then we also need content to keep the game fresh. I definitely agree there. Yeah. Oh, all right. Guys, we've come to everyone's favorite part of the podcast, Snap Who. So Tom has now guessed 3 cards. I've guessed 2. Justin has guessed 1. So we're going to try and even it up to make it fair. So this week, Tom is going to be giving Justin a card to guess. If you haven't played Snap Who yet, Tom will give Justin an ability on a card. Justin has to guess the cost, the energy cost of the card, the power of the card, and the name of the card. You get 1 point for each, so you can get a maximum of 3 points. Right now, Tom is on 7. I am on 5. Justin is on 1. So Justin only got 1 on his first attempt.
Completely butchered it.
So hopefully Justin can try and play a bit of catch up here. Over to you, Tom.
Okay. I don't know if this... I don't think this is too difficult, but
Oh, he's giving him clues already.
I
Helping him
actually
catch up.
don't know. I don't know if this is going to be
That's so
difficult. I don't know if it's going to be easy. So
don't give him too many clues. Look, he's
that's not
confident
a
now.
clue.
Oh, it is. You're saying that you.
How's that a clue?
Oh, I don't know. You could take something from it.
Okay. So the ability is you can only play this at locations where you are winning.
Ooh.
All right. I think I know what it is. I don't know. Last time I thought I knew what it was, and it was a completely different card.
I don't know if this helps you, but I
Can
have.
you say that again?
Yeah, I have no idea.
You can only play this at locations where you are winning.
All right. I think it's Crossbones. And I'm pretty sure Crossbones is I want to say 4 cost. And as for the power, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's 8 power.
Oh, he's got all 3.
That's impressive. When you said Crossbones, I'm like, I'll just queue it up in case it's correct. And what do you know?
I have not unlocked this card, but I don't think. Oh, maybe I have. Is that a full 3 card?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's a full 3 card.
Yeah, I don't think I've unlocked him, but I had him played against me recently.
I have this card, and I had no idea when Tom said it. I'm like, oh, he's not going to get this one. Impressive stuff.
Right.
I thought the power would throw you off because like not many cards are 8 power.
Nah.
So
Yeah.
It's an interesting card. You can only play this at locations where you are winning. I mean, it's not that hard to pull it off, but I guess this is again a win more card.
Yeah,
you just win that
more.
location more. So yeah. Well done. So Jizzy, I called you Jizzy. Jizzy's Justin's nickname. It's ingrained in my brain. So Justin, you are now on 4 points.
Back in the race.
Back in the race. You've had 2 attempts. I'm on 5 points. I've had 2 attempts. And Tom is on 7 with 3 attempts. So you definitely can catch up. We're definitely in the running to catch up to Tom. But Tom's still out in the lead there. We'll see if he'll be able to hold that next week. Guys, I hope you're enjoying Snap Who. Let us know if you're enjoying Snap Who. Cool, guys. That was a great episode. Again, sorry if my voice was a bit funny. Feeling absolutely terrible, but pushed through. I'm feeling good. Once I started chatting with you guys, I got a bit of energy. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, again, apologies that we weren't able to do the live stream today. But if you're, for those of you that are listening after, that probably doesn't matter. If you, I was like, my note said, apologize, we didn't go live this week. I'm like, I already said that. If the official Twitter, for the Infinite Snap podcast is @InfiniteSnapPod. So go and follow us there on Twitter, posting, we'll let you know when we're going live and just posting a bunch of Marvel Snap news, etc. on there. And if you want to watch us in video and you are not able to make the live stream, of course, it's with the time zones. We're in Australia, so we usually run it around 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you're on the other side of the world, you might be sleeping, you might be at work, etc. So if you still want to watch it though in video, you can watch us on YouTube at ShadowDTV. And if you have Spotify, podcasts on Spotify have video, which is pretty cool. I don't personally use it. Justin, do you ever use Spotify for podcasts?
If I'm listening to them, not if I'm watching them. But I did
see it
the other day.
Don't you?
I watch it on YouTube, yeah. But I did see when I was looking at your podcast the other day, the video, and it works well. It's pretty cool.
He says he says your podcast instead of our.
Our podcast.
he's already forgotten that he's part of the Infinite Snap crew now. Oh, Tom, any last words?
Nah, nothing from me.
Nothing from you. Justin might have something.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's good to be a part of the team.
Hey.
Awesome podcast. Love your work.
Thanks, guys.
Keen to do some more.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll catch you in the next we'll catch you in the next episode. Hopefully, we have a patch to talk about by then. That'd be nice. Something to chat about. But until then, we'll catch you guys next week. Have a great week, everyone. See yous.
See ya.